I got so pissed off. I mean, this was some motherfucker on Twitter, so what do you expect? And I didn't engage other than, like, my one response, but, like, when I did tweet, like, Tuesday night, I was like, "People are allowed to, be mad, let them feel how they feel," and he was like, "Anger is one thing," or whatever. He was like, but, he said, like, burning buildings and some other thing is another, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I
Already
was
with
like,
this. Yeah.
already, and this was, like, Tuesday night. I was like,
Yeah.
"What the I mean, if I
Hello
really
from
want."
Minneapolis.
Right, exactly. Well, but what I wanted to be like is I wanted to be like, "We're not the group of people who refuse to accept results,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we're not the people who, like, storm the Capitol," because I knew what he was dog whistling to, but I was like, "Actually, what that really made me think of was January 6th, and we will not do that." But I was like,
Yeah.
"What kind of bullshit escalation is that?" Right? Like, no one's saying that, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing, right? Like, but that honestly kind of, like, put me in, like, a fucked up sort of even notion, just be like, "This is how fucked up the world we live in is that there are people who," to be clear, this guy sucks, but, like, and it was a dog whistle and the whole thing was bullshit, but, like, where the rhetoric is such that saying something as simple as, like, "You're allowed to be mad," people can for him, it's not in good faith, but for some people it could be like, "Yeah, so a way some people respond to that is to try to burn it down and have a coup." Like,
Yeah. Right.
that's
Right.
fucked up, right? But, like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the reality we're in. Okay, so anyway, here's my theory about how, like, this is different
Alright.
from, like, 2016. So 2016, I think for a lot of us, for most of us, was a shock, and even if you had, like, a sinking feeling that Trump might win, and even if you'd, like, thought that he was more competitive than, the media, mainstream media, especially political media, gave him credit for a long time, and that, like, he was a real, like, force to be reckoned with, like, even if you had a bad feeling, the polling, everything indicated that Hillary was going to win, and then when she didn't win, but she did win the popular vote, right? Which, was similar to, like, a Bush v. Gore thing, but in this case, it was, like, decisive, like, it was obvious. Like, that was almost like there was this huge shock, right? And how did this happen? But there was also this, not comfort, but, like, this, I guess, additional kind of, like, sense of kind of, like, outrage, which is like, "Okay, but the Electoral College is should not be a thing that we do anymore, and, like, this is the second time now in 16 years that we have a different outcome from the different popular vote and Electoral College makeup, and, like, this is clearly not the will of the people,
Mhm.
collectively, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't remember the number, but, like, millions more people had voted for
It
her
was a
than for him.
huge gap. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and so, so it came down to, just the bullshit Electoral College system, and so that, like, you had the shock, but then you also had, like, in a sense, you were like, "Okay, but this is not the will of the people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not, what, the
It made
majority
it
voted
less
for."
confusing.
Right. In some ways, it made it, like, that much more shocking and, like, upsetting, but at the same time, you were kind of like, "Okay, well, this is not the will of the people." And then in 2020, again, like, won the popular vote by a large margin, and, um, obviously, it became very, very close and came down to a couple of states, and, Georgia really did come down to the sand votes. But, although even then, like, there was enough buffer or whatever, but, like, if Georgia or Arizona had been lost, like, Biden still would have
Yeah.
won. But,
Yeah.
like, you still had that thing, you're like, "Okay, the people did not vote for this," right? Like,
Yep.
from electoral point of view, from a, like,
Popular
populist,
vote.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
any popular vote point of view. But this time, A, it wasn't the same shock, at least for me. Because again, like, I felt the spidey sense. I was like, I know what this feeling is like. I'm having deja vu. Like, this is what's happening. You can see the things come in when I saw every single swing state, every single one,
Yeah.
come in, for him, and demographics, coming out stronger. Like, the big thing is that, like, with 2020, I think that we had a little bit of a false boost where way more people did show out to vote.